Hello, world. Welcome to another week of Golf Subpar. Colt Knost and Drew Stoltz. Hope everyone had a Merry Christmas out there and enjoyed our incredible Mike Commodore episode. I continue to rewatch it, Sleaze, and I laugh every time.
Dude, it's one of those ones I think they'll go down as the benchmark for funniest episode we've ever done. We had him for an hour and 20 minutes or something like that, and he's just one of the best storytellers in the world, period. But he's one of the few guys that we've had on because we have big name golfers and athletes, but all of them have like a brand or an image or things. So they gotta kind of toe the line a little bit between being funny and really getting into some of the other stuff. Kami's not that. He's so far removed from that. He's checked out. He's retired. He doesn't care, and he's more than willing to just bear all. And that episode was a 10.
Yeah, well, his brand is #N1.
Yeah.
And boy, let me tell you, I spent Christmas with him. You know, he's down here from Calgary, away from the family. We went and played golf, and we got in one, and we had a time out at TPC Scottsdale. I mean, the man is just a legend. First off, he told me more and more stories. We have enough for 6 episodes.
Yeah, we haven't even scratched the surface of Kami's stories. I was just like, how much can we jam into an hour 20? We'll have him back more and more. We got some stuff planned for 2021 that I hope can come to fruition where we get a few guys in here at the same time telling stories. He is 1A on the list. But yeah, I saw you out there playing golf on Christmas, getting in one on Christmas. That's a nice little family tradition.
I think it's our new tradition. We decided.
Get blasted on Christmas
Myself,
and play golf?
Mike Commodore, Chris Demon, and Jim Decker. We all went out to TPC Scottsdale. It was beautiful. It was 70 degrees. Just had a bunch of cocktails, gambled it up, and just let the party keep going all day. It was a blast. But you mentioned that 2020 is coming to an end. We can't thank everyone enough for all their support. Y'all have been unbelievable. This thing has just done better than we could ever imagine. We hope it continues to get bigger. But we want to touch a little bit on some of our favorite moments from 2020. I know you've got a few. I've got a few. What do you got for me?
Man, looking back, I feel like this year's gone so quickly. I feel like we just started this thing back in February, and now the first year's come to an end. And huge thank you to all the listeners out there and all the people supporting it and moving this thing forward. We're having a ball with it. I hope everybody else is having fun. But going back and trying to highlight some favorite moments, we've been lucky in that most of the guests that we've had on, or the vast majority, we already know, and like we're already somewhat good friends with for the most part. Very few strangers have walked into the studio. The one stranger who did walk in, which was just a highlight for me, was going way back, Kiradech Alpha Barn Rat. We got him the week of the Phoenix Open. His managers, his people just happened to be in the studio while we were recording one of our other shows. Like, oh, we'd love Kiradech to do this. And then I think it was literally the next day, Kiradech was in the studio with us. I love that dude. I'm a huge fan of his. We got the gear now with the Kiradech on, his face on the shirt. And he's a guy that I've always just kind of looked at from afar, not really knowing a whole lot about him. But so getting to sit down with him and actually digging into it, his story is pretty cool. And the way he lives his life is where he just spends all the money that he gets on either cars or watches or whatever. He lives how every dude wants to live, but doesn't have the balls to do it. So Kiradech was definitely a highlight for me. Which ones stick out for you?
I think Johnny Manziel.
Yeah.
Just because he was so open and honest about his past and how, he probably didn't handle things quite the way he should have. But he's like, you know what? At 19 years old, being one of the most famous people in the world, how would you handle it? So that was really cool how he opened up to us. I know we got a lot of comments about that. And just becoming friends with him over this past year, playing a lot of golf with him. He's such a good dude, and another guy that I would love to have back in the chair because I think we can get a lot more out of him. But you look at an episode like Joel Dahmen, where might not be the most popular guy on the PGA Tour, but we sat him down, he opened up, and we got so many comments about, I didn't really know much about Joel, but now I love him. He's a fan favorite now. It was cool to kind of show the personality of guys like that.
Yeah, exactly. I think another two that would kind of fall in that same category, the Ricky Barnes and the Sean O'Hare interviews, both laced with just really, really cool stories that a lot of people hadn't heard. Sean actually went above and beyond and told one that's pretty incriminating and may get him some comments when he's out there on tour when fans do get back. But both of those episodes, guys who have been on the PGA Tour for a long time, maybe not the most well-known, maybe not the biggest names, but have some just great stories. And hopefully we're just kind of showing some of the personalities and the experiences behind some of these guys. But those two, I think, Ricky's, some of his Augusta stories, I was like, same type of deal. I was like, dude, are you snitching on yourself? Right? Like, maybe don't tell us sneaking out and sneaking back into Augusta stuff.
I think we would be wrong if we didn't mention Sir Charles Barkley, though. I mean, anytime you can get Sir Charles behind a mic, it's an honor and a privilege, and he did not disappoint.
Without question. Just to get Chuck to come in here in the studio was a big one. He's got a lot of stuff on his plate, no pun intended, but he's got a lot of stuff going on. I'll say one. I mean, dude, it's so hard to pick like your favorites, but I thought the Jordan Spieth episode down in Dallas. Granted, I got a little bit overserved there at the end. I took a lot of shit for that, but at the end of the day, it's 3 dudes sitting around talking golf, and I thought he had some really cool insight, really cool stories. That was like a perfect hybrid of serious golf talk, but also getting to know Jordan a little bit more.
Yeah, thanks to all of our guests, though. They have all been incredible. I know that this, like we said, this thing is going far and above anything we thought it probably would have done. But now we just want to make it bigger, and we want to make it the best golf podcast out there, no doubt about it. And with y'all's help, we can do that. But right now, Sleeves, we got another interview to get to. Our man, Sir Double L, Luke List, was in the building.
Yes, sir. The final interview of 2020. Luke List was in the building for a little work with his teacher down here in Scottsdale. Nice enough to come in the studio. We sit down. We talk about USAM, Vanderbilt, his career, on the PGA Tour up to this point. And we just kind of, this one's a little more serious golf talk. There's no Uber stories. There's no punching people in the face or things like that. But this is a nice sit down with Luke List where we really kind of dive into some golf stuff.
And he's a big fan of Golf Subpar. He listens to every episode.
I appreciate
that. For that. But here he is, Luke List on Golf Subpar.
All right, we are excited to welcome in our next guest, our boy straight off the bird from Augusta. Nice enough to spend a little time in the studio with us here. PGA Tour veteran, Vanderbilt Commodore legend, and I would argue possibly has the best golf photo shoot in the history of the world.
Thanks for having me.
His name's Luke List.
Luke List. Yeah, I thought that would do enough.
Wait for it. Who is it?
I'll help you out, Sleeves.
I thought people would just draw their own conclusions.
Colt's like, is it me? Or?
Yeah, I didn't go to Vanderbilt, but other than that, everything else is true.
Everything else sounds accurate. You know the photo shoot, though. That had to give it away.
Yeah, for sure.
But you're on a beach with just 3 bikini-clad babes, and I was like, that had to be Luke's idea.
It actually wasn't. I don't know who the producer was, or I don't even remember that.
You should get a raise.
Yeah.
And he should be your best friend.
Making golf cool. So.
Hey, we're going to do a golf article. All right, here's what I need. It's just 3 babes in bikinis on a beach. If you can find a way to work a golf club into the mix, cool.
Yeah.
But otherwise,
there's no golf
this is it.
shots taken.
Yeah, that thing was incredible.
Sleaze did mention, though, Vanderbilt Commodore legend. You graduated from there with Human and Organizational Development degree. What is that?
Vanderbilt doesn't have a business degree, so we'll just say that was the undergrad business school. But it was most of the athletes were in that field, and I learned a few things, but it was challenging in some areas. But definitely a couple slide courses as well.
What's it like going to school in Nashville, though? I mean, one of my favorite cities.
It's got to be the best.
It was a lot of fun back then, and it's even more fun now. It's changed a lot. It's crazy how much the city's grown. It's kind of a mini Austin in a way with the music industry, and it's just a fun place to visit. So it was a lot of fun to go to school there, and wish our football team was a little better back in the day and now. But obviously the golf team was really a special program then, and is even better now. So it's fun to be a part of that. But Nashville is such a cool place.
It has grown though, like crazy.
We were almost teammates, bud.
Oh yeah.
Very close. Think of the dynasty that could have been formed there.
You're a horny frog,
down
right?
that 4-spot heavy power forward.
You could have been a 2-spot, honestly, when we were playing there.
I?
I think so, yeah.
Who were some of the guys on your team?
John Kern was there. Brett Lang was a good junior player. We had a couple other guys. Brant, I didn't overlap with him at all. And then right after me, there was a slew of really good players that came through.
By the way, you mentioned John Kern, former PGA Tour player. Texted me the other day.
Oh, no way.
Says he's thinking about starting a podcast. I go, well, you don't want this.
It's a saturated market now.
Yeah,
you got
get out of here.
Talking to the Godfathers
Find
right here.
something else.
Yeah.
Dude. There's so many jobs. Get in human development.
Yeah, exactly.
Develop some humans, bud.
But let's go back to 2004. That's where I feel like the world really first found out who Luke List was. You make it to the finals of the USAM, playing against arguably the greatest amateur to ever play the game in Ryan Moore, having one of the hottest summers ever up there at Wingfoot. But you make it to the finals. You're matched up against Ryan Moore. I'm guessing not many people were probably giving you a shot heading into those finals.
No, I think it was an underdog, like even in the first round, maybe the second round too. And Wingfoot's awesome course, so it was fun just to get another round each day, winning the match. That's kind of how I looked at it. And then getting through the semis, obviously, as a victor, that once you get there, it's kind of like it opens up a lot of doors. And getting the majors was cool, but I still feel like I had a good chance to win and played pretty well. And I think Ryan birdied 3 of the last 4.
Yeah, you had him.
You were
winning.
He had some matches. He was down in early too, but it was kind of destiny for him to just wipe the table with everybody that summer. So unfortunately, it didn't go my way. Didn't put my name on the trophy next to you, but
it's all right.
Yeah.
A lot of people strive.
I'll let you drink out of it. So don't worry.
Did you feel like you were going up against, like you said, he's literally going through, he's in his run of the best summer or year of amateur golf. Do you feel like I'm going against destiny, right? Or I'm going against history right now?
Yeah, I think a bunch of people had him down too. Overton, maybe a couple other guys had him down, and he pulled some crazy stuff out. But there was a putt on like 15. I think that we were both right next to each other, and I was just out. And I felt like if I would have made that, it would have closed the doors like a 15-footer, and I made it. I missed, and he made. and that was kind of
Can you believe that's been 16 years?
No, I can't. I
it's
mean,
crazy,
I feel
isn't it?
old. I talk to people about their kids now, and I'm like, oh, what's your kid too? And they're like 12. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm definitely older than I.
But like you
So-
said, it opened up a lot of doors for you.
Yeah.
You get into the Masters the next year in 05 by finishing runner-up. You finished 33rd, tied for 33rd. You played
Yeah,
great.
it's funny now living there, but it's obviously Masters is one of the best. It was fun to play well then as an amateur, and I still have not been back yet. That's the kind of mini goal, especially moving back there. It's you drive by it a lot, and you're like, fuck, I got to get back into this field, So it's like it's shitty not being be part of the tournament, but that's kind of a little side goal. Which
But
is
can
nice.
you remember much about that week? I mean, I know you made a whole
Yeah.
lot in the par 3 contest.
Yep,
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
cool.
it was just one of those weeks as an amateur. They treat you so well. I remember like leading up to it, I would drive down from Nashville and kind of skip class on Friday. It was, HOD, called HOD, Human Organizational Development, weren't too strenuous, and was able to pass most of my classes. But would go down a lot in practice, and I remember, every time, having drinks and meeting some of the members and just like racking up the tab, and I'm like, fuck, my dad's gonna kill me. Like this bill's gonna be $2,000 every, and they charge you. It was like $100. It was so cool, and I just thought the way they treat the amateurs was awesome, and staying in the crow's nest was great.
Did you stay all week? In the
I
Crow's
did,
Nest?
yeah, which is really fun. And I think Ryan won 2 tournaments. There was only like 3 of us up there, so it wasn't too crowded. And but yeah, just a special tournament, special place, and the amateurs they treat. So
Are you one of those
good
guys
vibes.
that like superstitious? Like, all right, you played it as an amateur. Now you live there. Won't go back until you get in
no,
the
I
Masters,
did
or
that
you go
for
play
I
it?
did that for a long time, and I was like,
Throw
screw
that
this.
out.
Like I'm getting old. Like I had some buddies come in, and they were playing
Our
like
guy Max Frank.
yeah, we
Oh,
took him out
Big
to
Max.
play, and
Yeah.
Nick
Nice.
Bedell, a couple legends. And,
Oh God, Bedell.
yeah, that was coming
Are you
off
allowed
a,
back?
coming off a tail end bender at Ohoopee, a new course in South Georgia. We had a good time, and there was some shakes involved at the Natty on on all of our parts, but it was a fun day. So I mean, it's not in tournament shape, but it's always fun to hallowed grounds, go stomp around there.
First off, if Nick Bedell gets to step on the ground
I
and tee it
know.
up, there's
I know.
no
It's
reason
less
why
Howard.
you and I have not played this place yet.
They let
That's
anybody.
true.
in these
Anybody,
days.
yeah.
But you mentioned Ohoopee. Okay, I've heard that place is incredible.
It's really cool. It's only a couple hours from Augusta, and Michael Walrath started from. He's a Long Island guy, and it's awesome. And it's really
Real private or
I think it's only 50 something members, and he.
private?
That's pretty.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
pretty
yeah. I
private.
think it's like all his buddies, and for the most part, and it's a really cool spot. So highly
Where do
highly
you play and
recommend.
practice down there?
In Augusta, I'm at Champions Retreat, Sage Valley, and Augusta Country Club. So I got a nice little golf setup.
That's nice.
How far is Sage
I've heard,
Valley?
is
It's only
incredible.
20 something
Oh,
minutes, 25 minutes.
that's
Yeah, it's really
incredible,
good.
yeah.
And I guess Zach Blair's building a course not too far away, like 45 minutes from Augusta now. I couldn't
Is that Buck Club?
yeah, he couldn't swing the dirt in Utah, so he's moving it to South Carolina a little cheaper. So
okay.
yeah.
That's fair.
Who are the dudes? Who's your game down? Like
Yeah, it's
Scottsdale got
a
a million
random.
pros.
Yeah, it's random. Henrik Norlander, legend. He's a beauty. And then,
Unbelievable.
yeah, Scott Perel's on the Champions Tour. Play a lot with him. Then we go over to Aiken, which isn't too far, and lose money to Kisner and Brownie over there. They're joined. They don't come over and play with us a whole lot.
I got to tell a funny Henrik Norlander story. So Josh Gregory left Augusta. What was Augusta State?
Yeah.
I don't know what's it called now.
Augusta University,
Augusta University.
or maybe not.
Left, so they didn't have a golf coach.
Yeah.
And so they were. Yeah, you live there. You
Yeah.
probably know.
Yeah,
But they're looking for a golf coach. They don't have one. So they call Henrik Norlander. Like, hey, you live in Augusta. Would you mind being like the interim head coach for 2 weeks? He's like, sure, no problem. So they come to Royal Oaks to play a tournament, and it's one of those ones where they bring 6 instead of 5.
Okay.
And so they're in the van, and I guess it was after the practice round, and Henrik just thinks they all suck, I guess. I don't know, but someone goes like, Coach, what's the format? He goes, I don't know. I hope it's a fucking scramble. He is a beauty.
Yeah, he's fun, and when he gets a few glasses of red, he's even better. So we have a good time, and our wives are friendly, and we enjoy our time together.
That's a good little
yeah.
spot. You've been in Jupiter, which is
Yeah.
like a hub. You've been in South.
I can
South
tell you about
California,
anywhere in
Southern
the country,
California.
yeah.
Where do you like the best? Or-
Yeah, I mean, we missed a lot of California stuff. I mean, obviously not right now, but the vibe in California was really cool. We enjoyed that a lot, the food and everything. But Augusta's really great. We have our in-laws close, and it's awesome for family, and we enjoy being there a lot.
Yeah, you can't hard to do a beach photo shoot in Augusta.
Yeah, not a lot of that.
Yeah.
But I want to backtrack just a second because obviously you were on a heater. You know, you lose the finals of the USAM. You play well at Augusta. You win the Jones Cup in 05, which for people that don't know is one of the biggest amateur tournaments. It's every other year. It was, back then at least it was. I don't know how it is now. But it was huge when you win that. Was there ever any thought of maybe like leaving school early and turning pro?
Well, unfortunately, my coach, Press McFall, took a job in between my junior and senior year to go to East Carolina, and that was kind of a good move for him and his family. But it left me thinking, man, I don't really want to go through a new coach and change. And I'm playing well, and maybe give it a thought. But I did want that degree. You never know what can happen. I felt like it was the right move for me to stay. Maybe it would, you could have got a few more sponsors invites, or what your endorsements would have been better. But ultimately, I don't think I was ready to go anyway. So it worked out fine. I mean, I had to pay my dues anyway on the mini tours, so kind of hard to say in hindsight.
I thought you were a stud.
Yeah,
I was so scared of you.
Yeah.
You were a stud. Let's get in that. So you do finish school, you come out and you graduate. You've had all the success as an amateur, doing everything you can possibly do. Then you come out and you go through Q school twice and don't get through, I believe, your first 2 times. Was that a surprise to you? Did you just kind of think like, I'm going to cruise through this? I'm clean.
Yeah, I mean, I think I didn't have the right mindset going into it. I mean, I think that Q school was canceled this year, but I tell people now, like, if you're going to Q school, you need to be prepared to have your like B or C game and still get through. And I feel like I was trying to prep for like having everything, all eggs in the basket, have your A game. And I kind of overdid it a little bit. And then when I got there, I wasn't hitting it great and kind of freaked me out. So I think you need to be prepared to like not have your best stuff and still get through. And that goes through a lot of different situations. But for me, Q school it's daunting for a lot of guys, but it took a little bit to get the hang of it, and don't want to go back.
That's why it's so tough. It's like you said, this is the one event I got to show up for. It's easy to like overtry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you don't
no
do that
doubt.
for any other tournament ever in your life, and then you're like, oh my God, this is it.
Exactly.
Now let's do everything.
Yeah.
And it can backfire a lot of time.
Yeah, no doubt. And it's just dumbing it down to it's just an event, and feeling like you can have not your best stuff.
Yeah, on the PGA Tour, it's like, okay, I played bad. There's next week.
Next week.
Q school, it's like, well,
college, everything.
Now
It's
it's
always
next year.
week.
Yeah,
Now
no.
it's a year.
Yeah.
That's what's so hard about it.
Yeah, but it's crazy. So you come out, you get your PGA Tour card in 13. You lead the tour in driving distance at 306. I looked all this up.
Thank you.
306.
Nice year.
Yeah, you lost your card, but you were leading driving distance. Now, this year, you're at 313 and you're 21st.
God, that's incredible.
Like, how much has the game changed in just like in your span of your career?
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, I think that there's so many factors. I mean, I think that people are being coached better. The young guys are having better instruction from, 5 years old or whenever they're starting up through, amateur and junior golf all the way to college. And I think that there was a handful of that when we were coming up, but it's just evolved to everyone has the right instruction. The equipment's better. The fitness is better. It's just across the board. Everyone is doing the right things from a younger age.
Mm-hmm.
And that attributes to just people bombing it now.
Like,
It's
I remember,
crazy.
like, when we were coming out, it was you, Dustin Johnson, and Gary Woodland. And
Right.
it was just like, holy shit, y'all smashed it. And
Yeah.
now it's like, if you don't hit it over 300, you might as well start a podcast.
And don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that,
No.
people.
No,
Yeah.
develop humans.
Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, obviously Bryson has kind of set the bar even higher, which is nuts, because I feel like even when I'm trying to mess around, I know Tony and a couple of guys can get to 200 ball speed, but I can't even touch that anymore. I'm like, I'm too old. So I can still move it a little bit, but I think the next generation we'll see more guys, flying at 330, 340.
But for you, it's like yours is effortless. Like, to me,
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
people that have
Different.
seen you swing, like, you're not falling over out there. Like, we saw Charlie Hoffman on Instagram recently.
Yeah,
he got to
right.
133, which is unbelievable.
That
133
is, yeah.
club head speed. He's like, but I mean, he's going all out. Yours is like just perfect. You're in perfect balance
like
every
Freddie.
time.
Yeah, I mean,
Tempo.
Charlie's spent a lot of time in the gym. I don't want to give him too much credit. He's still ugly, but
He's
it's
so ugly.
just it's a matter. I mean, that's cool. That's impressive speed. I mean, I don't know. For me, I don't even know if I can get that much speed. It's just a matter of mine's always timing. If I feel like I'm swinging too hard, I'm going to miss I'm going to hit it all over the place. So I think Bryson, that's impressive that he was able to still keep it on the planet with those numbers.
Yeah.
Do you not, is part of you not like this push for distance that everyone's getting longer? Because when you first come out, like, you led the tour, you're the
Yeah.
longest guy. That's your biggest advantage. And now it's like, all right, now I'm kind of top tier, but I'm not the longest.
I think people also talked about it, and like you still have to get the ball in the hole, and like that's been my biggest struggle too. So it's nice to be able to hit the ball far. That's a nice tool to have. And now that everyone's doing it, it's great. But I mean, eventually, I think you still have to have all the shots and all the tools and be able to find it and get the ball in the hole. So for me, that's still priority number one.
I just feel like 10 years ago, it was like the long guy, here's Luke List at 306, and the average guy was probably, 280. Now it's like the long guy's 320 and the average guy's 305. It's like,
It's
just everybody.
Yeah.
And unless they do something to rein it in, it'll just keep going, I think. I mean just
Equipment and technology are obviously better, but guys are bigger, faster,
Yeah,
stronger
no doubt.
athletes now. I mean, there wasn't guys back in the 80s like Gary Woodland and Dustin Johnson and you playing golf.
I mean, just from our time on, the average age on tours dropped dramatically. I feel like a dinosaur now at 35, and I think the average age is it's got to be in the 20s. I don't know what the numbers are.
It's getting
but
younger and younger every
it's-
single year.
and the guys are taller, leaner, fitter. Everything's going in that direction. So it's
hate
cool.
that.
And all the like teaching, they can put monitors
Yeah,
on you
yeah.
and show you how to do it all. It was
You're-
different. It used to be like, oh, hit it as hard as you can.
right.
and
Get some
figure
more.
it
Get some
out.
more lag.
Yeah.
Find something. But now
Widen
it's
your
yeah,
stance,
exactly.
Let me
Whatever.
ask you this: if you could change, I mean, you're a bomber, but if you could change one thing about how they set the golf course up, what would it be?
That's a good question because I feel like I do enjoy the tougher tests. Like I like the courses that 8 to 12 under wins, and whether that's tighter fairways, firmer. I think that generally the course setup's good, but traditionally if you grow the rough up and have firm greens, like you're gonna have higher scores. So it's that's what they could do. There's enough potential to do that. I think you can maneuver the schedule around a little bit, and not worry about the sponsors if you really wanted to make it tougher, but. Guys are going to figure out a way to make birdies.
It's better.
Shoot
I mean,
20 under every single
Yeah.
week, no matter if
Yeah.
the weather's
Yeah.
decent. It's just like clockwork.
Yeah, but you finished 6th at Bethpage at the PGA,
Right.
which was, that's a Luke List setup if
Yep,
I've ever
that's-
seen
Yeah,
it.
I mean, there's certain courses that fit, and that one, driver every you get in a rhythm where you're hitting, 10 to 12 drivers instead of button a hybrid or something. But that type of golf course you're going to see a lot of that. But again, the conditions were tough that week, wind and some kind of crazy weather. So, but you can't count on that every week.
Yeah.
Speaking of course setups, like you spent a couple years on the Corn Ferry Tour and things like that. Did you feel like that tour was almost hard? I want to say harder. That's not the right word, but not set up as well for you because there's so many courses out there where a guy like you can't hit driver and you're gonna be hitting from the same place from the fairway that I am. And on tour,
Yeah, no doubt.
you can air it out more.
In a sense, it's good because that tour you got to make birdies and you got to like get in the mindset of going low, and that is a good mindset. I mean, the tour has evolved where there used to be a lot of courses where like Harbortown and just certain courses you have to work your way around and be able to par is good, middle of the green, and just kind of make a couple birdies here and there, and like shooting 69 goes a long way. Where that still does exist a little bit, but I think now that the game has changed where you really have to have a little bit of that more Corn Ferry mentality of firing in and being aggressive and knowing when to almost play conservatively a little bit instead of always laying up. So
Yes.
I feel like since the tour returned after the COVID break, I mean, you have to go balls to
Yeah,
the wall.
it's
They've had
crazy.
no wind.
Right.
Greens are soft. I mean,
Yeah.
you saw the difference at Harbortown. I mean, you
Right.
finished 3rd there before,
Right.
but the difference in playing there in June versus April was just a joke. How much different it was.
I mean, obviously a little bit of softer greens, and those greens are usually firm, made a big difference, and there wasn't much wind. But you can't control the weather. I guess the setup could be a little tweaked here or there to make it a little tougher. But
I just feel like hitting the ball straight is such a skill. Like, I'm not saying you should hit it 260 off the tee. Obviously, it's easier to hit
Right.
straight there, but like you should get rewarded if you hit it far and straight. But if you try to push it up there, I think you should get punished a little bit.
yeah,
So I've thought of this idea of growing the rough. It gets deeper the closer you get to the green.
Progressive
Yeah.
rough,
Yeah,
but just
Right.
but not
further
not
out.
width. Let's go
No,
further
just
off. So
Right.
if you want to ship it up
310,
there
start-
at 320
Right.
and you miss the fairway, you're going to get punished. But if
Right.
you hit the fairway, you're rewarded. But if you
Yeah.
want to lay back to 260, obviously then it's harder because you're further
Right.
from the green. But it's obviously the rough isn't as penalizing and the fairway's a little wider.
yeah. I mean, that sets up ideal for you.
Yeah, Colt's just
Yeah.
building his own. And
I get it.
guys.
I get it.
It was kind of a nice
I want
idea.
every
Oh,
hole
I
to
like
be
it. I like
380
it.
yards.
Yeah.
So I can hit lob wedge into every
Foot long
hole.
rough at 300 to
Yeah.
the green.
Do you think part of it is not just players are getting better, but also just the mentality? Like we had Sean O'Hare in here, and he kind of
Yeah.
talked about this because he's been out there for a long time.
He talks
He's
about
like,
a lot of things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we talked about a lot of weird shit actually.
I've
too.
listened to that one. That's the hardest
Did you
I've
hear that
laughed.
one?
Yeah, I was actually driving to a tournament, and I was listening to and I had my earbuds in. I was driving, which my wife's like, "That's not safe." I'm like, "That's fine," And then a little one fell asleep in the back, and I was crying, laughing.
Dude, it's
I almost woke her up. She's hitting me. Shut up! I was laughing so
I
hard. was
couldn't
like,
believe he told it, dude.
So good.
I actually talked to him like 2 nights ago. Or we had him on
Yeah.
a radio show a few days ago. I was talking to him on the phone. He's like, dude, it's not all the time, but he's like, some of these tournaments now I go out to, he's like, people be like, watch out for the shower,
Yeah,
Sean,
yeah.
or something. Like, he's like, dude, I should have. I had no idea that this thing would. Get
No,
out
I was
there when
literally
told
like
it.
looking forward to registering just so I could like find him and like, dude, that was incredible.
So good.
So good. What the hell was I asking?
I don't even remember.
Oh, I was asking, do
Yeah.
you think part of it is like just like the minds, like obviously I think the players are better. They're younger.
Right.
I think the skill is just getting
Yeah.
better as a whole in the game of golf. But some of it just the mentality of like, there used to be like, oh, 25 feet right of the hole
Right.
here is a good shot. And now guys are just like, forget
Well, just
right
like-
at it every time.
Just like that mentality. I mean, like you felt like you had to go to college and then graduate and then go to the mini tours, and that doesn't
Pay your
exist
dues.
anymore. It
That's
doesn't.
over.
It's all like these guys are ready to win in at 18 to 22, like that range. They're just ready to go, and they're weathered and their swings are good and they're ready to make a bunch of birdies. So,
It is
I mean,
impressive.
There's
Yeah,
no learning
yeah.
curve anymore. It's just
I don't
like, I'm a
think
good
so,
college
yeah.
player. Now I'm a good tour
Yeah,
player.
well, I mean, the golf club and the golf ball are the same, and the holes the same size, so they just go for it. I mean, it's impressive. I mean,
It's
there's
so
some,
hard to do though. It's easy
Yeah.
to say. Like you
Yeah.
came out your rookie year, you had a rough rookie year, your
Yeah.
first year out there, and obviously it wasn't a skill thing or a talent thing.
Yeah.
You were an unbelievable player. What was it your first year as a rookie that was like this?
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
harder than
it can be a bunch of different things. I mean, knowing the golf courses, you started getting a little stretch of losing some confidence on hitting some shots or hanging out with Colt too much. I mean, it just depends on, the
Not the
different
first
variables.
time someone's blamed me.
But no, but that going back, it almost was like okay, really, what do you want to do? Do you want to take this seriously and really full encompassing the full circle, like check all the boxes the right way and make this, career? And that was kind of a gut check to do that, and it worked out well.
Yeah,
It's I mean,
worked out.
it's very easy to get out on the PGA Tour and get distracted. I don't think people realize, like, you get out there, there's hundreds of thousands of people.
Yeah.
There might be some parties at night that you have
All
never
the
been
stuff on
to.
the range. You
Yeah.
just
I
want to
mean,
be there and soak it up.
Yeah, I mean, there's a million different things. I mean, if you're, I listened to Abe's podcast with you guys and just talking about tinkering with clubs. I mean, that's a big distraction too. Like, what got you there is probably going to play your best with. So that was I was going through some equipment stuff that rookie year, and that was kind of a pain in the ass. But, again, no excuses. I mean, always play better.
I tell all the young kids coming up there, if they ask for any kind of advice, I'm like, learn
When they
to
go
say,
to Colt.
Yeah, when they go. Well, first off, played out there just only 8 more years than you did, but no big deal. Sleaze.
Oh, there it is.
But,
We hit
there
the
it is.
under. We hit the
Yeah.
under.
But I tell them learn to say no, because
Yeah.
every equipment rep's going to come up, because first off, they get paid by how many shafts
Yep.
they get put in play, how many grips, whatever it is. Try this, try that. Listen, if you're happy with your stuff, just say no.
Yep. I mean, the tour also has evolved that way too. I feel like that in your time, and you've seen that the guys were hanging out and there was more camaraderie, and like, it's not like, I don't feel like it's like, I mean, the guys will still stay together now with the houses and the COVID stuff, that they're a little more isolated, but for the most part, you're in your little pod, your team, your trainer, your chef, your whatever. And there's no having to say, they're all in every week. And it just seems like that's
so sad.
it is, but they're making millions. And
Yeah, I mean, I get it. The money's
Yeah.
a lot, but still, it's fun to go hang out and
I
have dinner
agree.
with guys.
I mean, that exists, I think, with more of the older generation that's out there and stuff. But I see most of the young guys kind of doing their robotic stuff, and that works. I mean, that'll keep you in the mode, and hopefully we'll see that longevity in that.
I feel like
too.
it's just more of like a business. Not that it always
Yeah.
hasn't been a
Yeah,
business,
no,
but
no.
it's more of everyone's
Yeah.
got their team, and this is
Yeah.
what I do, and it's more like me. I'm
Totally.
worrying about my stuff, which is totally fine. But there's
Yeah.
less like you hear stories of some of the older guys like McCord and stuff that's been in here. It's like, dude, there's none of that. Those the cards after the rounds and the drink and go.
I know.
That's like gone.
It's gone.
It feels
Yeah,
like.
yeah. That it sounds all enticing, but I think the new generation, if you want to stay healthy and play, I mean, guys are doing that. Till Phil and those guys playing in their 50s, Stricker, and it's really impressive that they've had those careers and still can play against the young guys, but they're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
I would say, like, if and people that know you very well, that you played a lot of golf with you, even members of the media that have seen you play, they're probably surprised you haven't broke through and won yet. How much does that eat at you?
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's more for me. It does to a degree. I mean, I think it did a little like a few years ago, but now it's like I've got so much good going for me. Wife, beautiful little girl. Like, it's all awesome stuff. Then everything else is just happens is a plus. So yeah, obviously I want to win. I want to win a lot, and would love to win a major, like all that stuff. But if it doesn't, it's not going to be in the world, And I feel like for me, it's more like these mini goals of like trying to get better and trying to improve. And like, even though I've been struggling of late, I'm like, man, I'm actually enjoying working at it, which is kind of cool. And that's how I know that I'm still doing the right things. If you enjoy working at it when you're struggling, then you're doing all right.
What's the number one thing you need to improve?
I think it's just getting the right mind frame of like being consistent with my putting and like knowing that I'm on the right track and like working on it. And then instead of like having a bad putting week and feeling like I got to change a putter or feeling like I've got to tweak something here or there. And I think that when I'm playing my best, I feel like I'm just consistent with my routine, consistent with my mindset. And that can vary easily for me, because I've usually hit it pretty well. And like, if I'm not, scoring, it's usually the putter. So that for me, if I can, stay consistent, that's kind of my goal with that.
Yeah, your swing's pretty ugly. You should probably work on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I work on tempo and
Yep.
length more
Yep.
than anything.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time on both those. You had an interview after the 2018 Honda, the playoff loss to Justin Thomas, where in your post game you said, "I have a renewed passion for the game," and you feel like you are, you kind of that inner fire was like relit or whatever.
Yeah.
Is that when you played golf for as long as you have? Is that the hardest thing to do? Is like the kind of like to stay excited about playing golf and playing on tour?
I mean, that's the biggest feat. Like the guys that have, obviously like Tiger, that is the exception, right? He's the bar, but like how he's been able to push himself after winning so much, it just blows my mind. That's so much like inner strength to be able to do that, and mental fortitude to keep going. I mean, he's achieved everything there is, and he still was out there grinding. Like that's so cool. So it's a little probably a little tougher for that situation, but for me, like, yeah, I haven't done all this stuff, so I want to strive to keep going for that stuff. But yeah.
But it's the same thing with any job. I think people forget because it's PGA Tour, and
Right.
most people look at that like the dream job. But it's like it's at the end of the day, it's still a job. And if you do
Right.
something for 20 plus years every single day, like it's easy to just kind of become lethargic with it. And
It can be, and
just
yeah,
gets
I've gone through
monotonous.
that. I mean, everything is kind of maximizing your opportunities and also, maximizing your time management too. And I think that that's always been my struggles for different reasons. And I think that now it's like, yeah, you want to be a good father, good husband, like good, good at playing golf and good at doing all that and like training the right way. But it's still finding out like the balance of all that. And that can be tough, especially with our lifestyles.
I think with the PGA Tour too is unless you win, you have to earn that job every
Absolutely.
single year.
Yeah.
It's like, oh great, you finished 40th on the FedEx, you had
Yep.
a great year, you made a lot of money. Guess what? Now you get to start over and go ahead. Now we're starting
go-
at zero
go
and
earn
go ahead
it
and
Yeah,
do it again.
exactly.
Was
So-
that different for you this year, being that like with COVID and all that stuff? This first year, like, all right, no matter what, I ain't losing my card. I'm playing again next. Did that change?
Yes and
like,
no.
your
I mean,
prep?
I don't think so because I was in a decent category. I had my full card, but like I didn't get in Colonial and like I wasn't in some of the invitationals. So it was kind of like, that sucks. Like I want to be back where I'm getting in, where the level a couple years prior I was in a couple majors and like in all the invitationals. And that's where you want to be. You want to be in that echelon where you're, can set your schedule and do all that. So that's kind of the goal, to get back to that where you're, optimizing your starts.
What do you think?
WGCs, all the free money. Those are nice.
Those are nice
Yeah,
too.
free money's good
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. 4-day no cut is prime
okay,
time.
I'll show up.
Yeah.
You got me.
Yeah.
Say golf didn't work out. What do you think Luke List would be doing?
I don't know. I've thought about that because I've heard you ask a bunch of guys that, and I've really asked myself that twice when there was one time in 2014 I lost my card and I was like, God, I'm like literally thought I was gonna like want to quit and like, but I was like, I don't know what else I'd do.
Yeah.
So I think I could probably do something in sales or do something kind of BSE, but I don't know. I mean, hopefully I don't come to that. I've got I kind of float around some ideas business wise, like trying to make Augusta, our community I live in now, a little bit better. So I've got a buddy that we're always popping ideas off, and we'll see how that goes. Maybe down
Keep
the road.
playing good golf.
Yes, exactly.
Keep playing.
You can always drive Uber.
Yeah.
We've had some guys audible into Uber. It's worked out pretty well.
Oh, jeez. Some shady characters.
I want to ask you this because I'm not sure if you still do this, but I found this very interesting. You used to have names on all your clubs, on all your irons. You had it stamped on there, and there were different names and acronyms for each club. Are you still doing that? Or is
I haven't
that
done that in a long time. That really got out of control. I forgot about the naming all the clubs. That hasn't popped up.
I
in a while.
read somewhere that your forehand was named FS. Do you remember what that stands for?
I think that was fat shit.
Fat shit for
Yeah,
the forehand.
yeah. Because
Why
I used to,
that for the
I used
four?
to
You hate
chunk
the
it all
four?
the time. Like I'd have the perfect number into a par 5 or a long par 3, and I wouldn't chunk any other club. It was just the 4-iron and just so
Fat
fat
shit.
shit.
My whole bag would be FS.
Yeah, I know,
Which
right?
FS you want? I chunk
can you
everything.
thin it sometime? And so I think I'd purposely try to thin the 4-iron after
That's
that. Yeah.
so good. I wish you remember some of the other ones.
Yeah.
I like that idea though. Name every single club. So you just tell your caddy like, all right, give me the FS. Is it a full FS or a
I
half
think I
FS?
tried to get them to like take the numbers off, but they didn't at the time. I mean, the other companies probably would, but
That would've been great.
Yeah.
That is hilarious.
Hide it on par 3s
Yeah.
too. Nobody
Yeah.
knows.
Yeah.
Hold on. What are you in? You're in town working with Jamie Mulligan. Your
Oh.
coach,
Yeah,
correct?
doing a little club testing, working. Jamie, my coach, is California. He's here. We're just doing a little practice, and just enjoying some good weather.
So Jamie Mulligan is a very famous coach. So many guys have gone to him across all different tours. What is it about Jamie that makes so many guys want to go to him?
For me, when he broke it down, like there was obviously some swing issues, but I think it was full encompassing everything. Like when we first started working together, we wouldn't even hit golf balls sometimes. We'd just talk, and like he just has such a knowledge of the game that way, and that was really cool to have someone who first doesn't look like a golf coach. He, dresses like a little surf beach bum, and he's, you're talking to him, and you think you're just, hanging out with some bro at the bar in Cali. So we got along that way pretty well, and he his knowledge of the game and his stories are great. I've heard all of his stories 100 times, so it's a little repetitive, but he's done a lot for me, and obviously the swing stuff's been very helpful.
Yeah, I
too.
met him when we were in Vegas, when we went up there and we saw you. We went
Yeah.
to dinner with you
Yep.
that night, and he was like, "Hey, Jamie, nice to meet you." I was like, "Hey, Jamie, good to
Yeah.
see you." Kept moving or whatever. And
Yeah.
then like, "Oh, that's Jamie." I was like, I had no idea that
Yeah,
was
you
Jamie
wouldn't-
Mull. I was
yeah.
like, "Yeah, I'm probably in no state to recognize anybody," but I was like, I had no idea that was the guy. I would have just sat and
Yeah.
talked to him because he's so well known and so
I think,
everyone speaks
yeah.
so highly.
He's done so much, and I think a lot of his guys were from small aged, whether junior golfers or even before then. So he's kind of molded those guys. Patrick Cantlay, obviously one of them, has had a lot of success. So it's cool to see.
He's done okay.
Yeah,
He's got. I mean, he'll be okay.
his nickname is Sheldon. So
Some good names coming out of the SoCal region. What's the Sheldon about?
I think that's from Big Bang Theory. The
Oh,
nerdy guy. That's,
I thought you could catch that.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
Does
I know
Ballinger
that
have
guy,
one?
but I don't watch it.
Idiot.
Idiot.
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? I
Maybe
don't have one for him, but
We got the Seagull, Charlie Hoffman.
yeah,
goal,
that's
that's
one of the
a
best.
fitting-
That's one of the best.
that's a
Yeah.
solid
There's no, I don't know if there's a better fitting nickname.
Well, do you remember when we used to hang out much? I called you CeeLo for a while,
Yeah.
and you called me Kesha. Because you're like, yeah, you're good looking, but not from up close, like from far away.
We used to have some
I go,
interesting
CeeLo.
times.
Yeah.
CeeLo, where'd that come from? CeeLo
CeeLo
Green?
Green,
CeeLo
yeah.
Green,
Well, I think
yeah,
I'm white
Little
dude.
bald dude.
CeeLo.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
I ran into him at the airport one time, and he is legitimately this
Yeah.
tall. I was like, this is him.
Great.
Tats on the head and all this stuff.
Great voice though.
Yeah, he can go.
Yeah.
Kid's got some
I
talent.
get it. All
Kid's got some
right.
talent.
You've seen our show. Now we're going to get into the emergency nine.
Perfect.
9 fun ones. So, but you got to put your thinking cap on.
You should have
Okay.
the first one down. That's
All right,
the time
well,
to
yeah.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Have a
but
beer.
yeah.
Pretty soon we'll put you to bed. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1, movie about the life of Luke List. Who plays you in a movie? Any actor?
You know, on a good day, I've gotten Ryan Reynolds. That's aggressive, but I'll take that one.
Yeah. That's,
Yeah, I watched Ford and Ferrari on the plane this morning, so I'll go with
By
Matt.
the way, great movie.
Really good.
Watch that.
Really
I've
underrated.
Watched
Really
that recently
good.
as well.
So Matt Damon, if not Ryan Reynolds.
I have Matt Damon down.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Think very highly of yourself.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
I mean,
modesty.
well, sorry. I mean, if you have a movie playing yourself, I'm not going to say Denzel like
of course,
Gary.
dude, this
Gary,
is
come
your
on,
movie.
yeah,
Absolutely.
I
I
mean,
had
you
you
want the
for
best.
John Krasinski.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Very
I'll take that.
likable.
Yeah,
very.
and
You
he
know,
kind of got shredded recently. That's a little.
You did get.
Yeah,
you are
yeah.
shredded.
What's
You're
that,
doing beach shoots.
Yeah.
What's that show he's got out? It's on recently. Something Jack Ryan.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
he's
the new
strong,
guy.
yeah.
He went from
Yeah.
Jim
Yeah.
Halpert, office
To-
dude,
yeah.
to save the world every episode.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Like that.
All right.
Maybe I'll do
Take
that
either
one
of
day.
either of those.
All right, this one. Oh, this is my like serious one. All right, if you could have one mulligan in your career, where do you take it?
Oh, when was the first time we met? I'm just kidding.
Walk the other way.
Think
No.
about all the good times we had.
One mulligan in my career. Golf wise.
Yeah, golf shot you can have over.
I would have stayed with my clubs that I played in 2012 and not changed in 2013. My rookie year, I would have the clubs that got me there. I would
Yeah,
have,
Chase
we
that
do a
money.
lot of talking about that.
Yeah.
On this,
That's
I think
probably my one mulligan.
Yeah, I think that you wouldn't be the only guy with
Yeah.
that mulligan. I don't
Yeah,
think.
some big.
And I haven't done it since, so that was a good lesson learned the hard way. But yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about this recently with John Rahm changing from TaylorMade to Callaway.
aggressive.
Big
Yeah.
change.
His is
But-
I'm guessing
different
that
when it's-
paycheck was a little aggressive too.
Yeah.
He's pretty good. He'll figure it out. But yeah, it is.
Risky
If
situation.
if people do that, I say get in the contract that you have. 14 clubs is a lot, but just if you have wiggle room to get the timing, make
Yeah.
sure you have enough time to do all that. So.
Yep. Agreed.
All right, number 3. Best prank you have done to anyone on the PGA Tour, or best prank that has been done to you on the PGA Tour?
Oh man, that's a good one. Best prank.
I've got one I did to you. I don't know if you remember.
I'll let you tell that. The best prank I've ever seen is poor little Gavin Coles. They used to abuse that little guy.
yeah.
He was such a
That's
funny
good,
little
man.
Australian guy, and they just like I feel like there was a stretch where there was this toilet in Wichita or somewhere we played, and it was like an inch off the ground. I'm like, why? And they just Gavin's toilet, and then there was this little like miniature birdhouse and like Gavin's house. They just used to like always like leave notes for Gavin and his like little tiny little miniature stuff. So I always thought that was really pretty
Trip
fun.
Eisenhower went and got one of those cars that the little kids drive
Yeah.
around. It's like the mini Mercedes, and parked it in his spot at the
Yeah.
Barclays one year. His wife
Legendary.
got so mad. It was
Yeah.
great. But mine was at the Greenbrier with you. The one I did to you. Me and you were kind of going back and forth a little bit, and we were playing around the same time, and I decided to call room service. And it's like, hey, this is Luke. Our rooms were right across the hall from each other.
Okay.
I was like, hey, this is Luke List. I'm finishing up. I know it's going to be busy. I just want to go ahead and order like 2 pizzas, a bottle of wine, Caesar salad, and a dessert.
Oh my god.
And he gets back, and I could hear outside because Greenbrier's old, so you can
Yeah.
hear everything outside. And I hear him. He's like, got your room service? He's like, I didn't order that.
I'll take it.
But I'll take it. Yeah. I didn't have to pay
That's
for it,
pretty
so
good.
that was good. Yeah,
You're
it's always
late.
fun. It's always
Yeah.
fun to mess
You're
with.
late.
Yeah.
I'm not paying for
Where's
it.
my cookie? Yeah.
All right,
Twinkies.
next one.
Yes.
Your wife, who's a bit of an actress, right? If she were to land the leading role as the love interest of Leonardo DiCaprio, would you be excited or terrified?
I think most of she's 30 now, so I think she's a little outside the age range of most of his.
That's a good
So
answer. Good
I
answer.
think I'd be all right with it.
Yeah.
I mean, she's beautiful. I'm very lucky, but I think that he goes for a little younger.
Okay, let's
so-
say
about
25-year-old.
yeah, yeah, she's in her prime time. I mean, yeah, that's a little worrisome. I mean, I would still worry now, but
That's a good answer.
Yeah.
She's
So
might be
I'd give
about
her
10
the-
years
If
removed
she's in a
from-
movie with Leo, though, I'd take that paycheck right now.
I was about
She's
to
leading
say,
lady,
you might not
so
have to do
I'm-
nothing
yeah,
ever again.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
Point. All right, next question. Obviously, in the rules of golf, you're allowed to play with only 14 clubs. What's the fewest you have finished a round with? Can be on tour or off tour.
Ooh, probably I teed off. Well, Travis Matthew, we had like a fun tournament, and I had a rental set, and I broke the driver and went and paid the pro, and then didn't play anymore. I don't think. So there's one shot with that. So it was like
I heard it was a Nike Sasquatch.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Regular
but I
flex.
think I don't think I've ever broken 2 clubs in a round. The funniest one I've ever had was at Quail. I was playing bad. It was on Sunday, and I just was like kind of back of the pack, and I twirled a club into the lake on. I hit an awesome drive, like a bomb, and I had a 5-iron into the par 5 15, which is silly.
Yeah.
Most guys are hitting hybrids or whatever, and I'm short side myself with a 5-iron, just tomahawked it over the group and into the lake.
Over
And
the group?
Well, the rest of my group was
Yeah.
like over the left, and I just threw it over their heads, and everybody's laughing. I'm like, keep laughing. And we get to 17, and I'm like, it's a perfect 5 into my caddy. Yep. So he's like, you want to hit a 4 or a 6? I'm like, well, 6 is going in the soup. I've got to feather a 4, hit that in the soup too. So,
FS showed back up.
yeah. So that was not my finest moment, but I've never broken more than 1 club.
It's amazing if you do break one,
Yeah.
how you need it later on.
Yeah,
in the round.
it's obviously karma, and it bit me hard. So
God, I can't remember the.
You
playing
can't get
with
through
somebody.
around breaking one
No.
and not being like, well, this is
No,
perfect
it's coming
yardage for my
back.
8, which I
Yeah.
threw in the lake
No,
for
that's
the whole
what, I was
9.
playing with somebody, and he had an Australian caddy. I can't remember who it was. And he got up there, and he's like, "Well, it's a perfect 8, but you fucking broke it back
Yeah.
up the hole."
It's undefeated.
Yep.
Yes.
Undefeated.
Every time.
Yes.
That rule. All right, next question. Bigger heartthrob on the Vanderbilt campus while you were there, you or Jay Cutler?
Yeah, I'd say Jay Cutler. I mean, obviously I feel like he had like
It's close though.
Yeah, I doubt
Toss
that.
up?
He had like an Escalade or something, and he used to just kind of ride around and listen to his gangster music and just pull up. And I feel like a girl would just hop in his car. So
Yeah.
I didn't have that.
Hey,
kid.
you.
Yeah. But he obviously had a good career, and I think football is a little sexier than golf. So he gets.
He was
on.
blasting some rap around.
Oh, yeah,
he's
he's
a
big.
country
Oh.
dude now on his reality
is he
show.
now?
He's out in
Okay.
the woods
He's
and
got
he
it all.
likes
He's-
chickens.
he's
and
got it
hunting
all.
and all
all
that.
Likes
covered.
chickens, yeah.
Yeah, he's like a flock of chickens. That he
Good for
tends
him.
to- Yeah, all right.
Interesting guy.
Yeah. Were you guys buddies at all? You guys
Didn't
hang?
know him a whole lot. He was friends with a couple of older guys, and nothing good, bad to say about him. He just
Okay.
kind of
All right.
All right. Next question.
Yeah.
We're gonna do a little word association. First thing that pops into your head when I say this word. Okay.
Okay.
Gravy.
You,
Okay. Sleaze.
also you.
Mm-hmm.
Popcorn.
Movies.
Oh,
Very disappointing. You got that one wrong. You had the first 2 right.
Okay.
I want you to think back to the Corn Ferry tour. We're in San Francisco, and there might have been.
there you go.
God.
Please tell the story.
Oh, I wish he was here to tell that story. He is so good. Every time I see him now, your old beauty caddy, he's a legend. You tell better. Yeah, I'll give you the honor.
It just came to me as I was
Yeah.
coming here actually
Yeah.
about this, but I remember there was something. You were walking down the street in San Francisco, and there was these 2 bums about to fight,
Yep.
and I believe like everyone was kind of just walking around it, and these 2 cops came up and like just nonchalantly like, "Not today, popcorn." So they all knew this bum.
He must have been a big fighter.
Well,
this
he'd been
popcorn.
arrested a couple times, the guy had said, and I was just crying. I mean, the one who'd been peeing, and he stopped peeing, and he tackled the other guy, and then not today, popcorn came out of nowhere. The cop came out of the side, and so yeah, it's
The guy that caddies for Andrew Putnam now, Brandon, who caddies up at the
Yeah.
Rocket always. I think he was
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
caddying for you at
yes,
the time.
yes.
And so I always call him. We call each other popcorn
Popcorn.
Yeah.
now. Yep.
Not today.
Yeah.
No
That's
more
great.
pissing
Yeah.
and fighting
Yeah.
popcorn.
Yes.
Damn it.
God, what a legend.
That's
I wonder
weird
what
that
his real
happened in
name
San
is.
Francisco.
It's a mess right
If
now.
you would have picked up on popcorn when I said
I
that right
know,
away, that would
I
have
know,
been very
I know.
Yeah,
impressive.
popcorn's a broad one. That's a throwback
Yeah.
story, but that's a hell of a story.
Yeah.
All right, next one. Hypothetically speaking, if you were to attend, say, a Charlie Hoffman charity event in San Diego, and say hypothetically 2 tickets for a Justin Bieber concert were up for sale in San Diego, and hypothetically you were also living in Jupiter at the time, how much would you bid on those hypothetical tickets?
Well, it seemed reasonable at the time to potentially, it wasn't like a massive fan, but I mean, it would have been fun to, go, but I don't even think I knew where the concert was when I first initially bid, or that my friends, quote unquote friends,
Right, yeah.
would bid up the ante a little bit. But it was a great cause to give my money to Charlie's people, and not go to the concert. So.
What happened to, because you're in Jupiter,
like
the
it was-
concert's in San Diego.
Charlie
was
took
it in
him.
San Diego? I think it was like Vegas or something, and I still didn't. Either way, I didn't go to the concert,
didn't get-
and just I don't know, it's whatever.
Charlie probably took those front
Yeah,
row.
guaranteed.
Yeah.
Beebs, throwing
Yeah,
pants
games
up
with the
there.
girls, yeah.
Awesome.
We
Well, Luke,
love you.
this has been an absolute
Yeah.
blast, man. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you,
on with
boys.
us.
Fun.
Thanks for the time, dude.
Appreciate it.
Kill
Always.
them this year.
Thanks.
And that was Luke List on Golf Subpar. Sleaze, like we said, a little more serious golf talk. Coming off the Mike Commodore episode, kind of hard to back
That's
up.
a tough one. That's
Yeah.
coming on stage after Chappelle goes on. You know, like, nah, dude, you go. I don't want to be the one after that guy. So that's a tough spot for him to be in. But Luke, such a good guy. And he's one of those guys I look at in his golf career. When you watch him play golf, it's like there's so much talent there. I just think when all the things kind of get figured out and all come together at once, there's just too much game there to not, peel off a couple wins in his PGA Tour
I
career.
thought it was cool to listen to, like, when he first comes out on the PGA Tour in 2013, he leads the tour in driving distance at like 306. Now he's
Yeah.
averaging like 12 yards further, and he's like 21st in driving distance. It's just crazy how much the game's evolved. And here's a guy, like you said, so naturally talented, it's a joke. If you've ever seen him swing the golf club, I mean, it just looks effortless, and he just absolutely smashes it. And I would say, I mean, he's a good buddy of mine, but I would still say, probably to his face, he's underachieved in his career.
Well, talent-wise, yeah, when you look at what he can do, I remember playing with him in college and in amateur golf, and he was one of those, like you said, it's effortless. Just watching him, I was like, oh my God, like why can't I hit it that? It doesn't even look like he's trying. He's just one of those guys that jumped out like a DJ or a JB Holmes or some of these guys that were there was a handful when when you and I were playing. He was one of them, and watching him play, it's like, God, as soon as this guy figures everything out, like it's a problem for everybody else. But like now, there's 50 guys hitting it like that.
Yeah, but I mean, he's still got a lot of time left in his career. Definitely would not be surprised if he knocks off a victory pretty soon. But thanks to him for sitting down with us. But Sleaze,
Tell him.
that's going to do it for 2020 with Golf Subpar. But coming up in 2021, our debut episode, we've got the man himself, big, beautiful Harry Higgs. Rookie on the PGA Tour last year, started to make a little name for himself, had a great rookie season. But he's more known for kind of his look out on the golf course.
Yeah, he's more known for he had a great year of golf last year, especially as a rookie. But more known for kind of his overall appearance, the way he likes to slide those buttons down and show a little man cleavage out there. So he will be in the building. Definitely a fan favorite. There's been no fans out there right now, but he is. If you check Twitter and all that type of stuff, he's one of the guys that everyone seems to want more of. So we're gonna have big, beautiful in the building this coming week, and I'm excited for it.
It's gonna be awesome. I cannot wait, and you're gonna have to deal with 2 SMU Mustangs.
I know this is gonna be disastrous. I don't know. I might call in sick that day. We'll try to limit the SMU stories. Now we'll tee him up for whatever the hell he wants to talk about.
I cannot
make
wait.
sure his cup is full the whole time, and we'll get into it.
I cannot wait. But thank you all for a great 2020. This has been an absolute blast for us. We'll see you in 2021 on Golf Subpar.